Hello and welcome to my workshop. So today we're going to get him back on the little Jeep C2J build. And reminder, this is my granddaddy's Jeep that he had when my dad was a kid. I used to take this down to the beach. And this is based off of MRC axles, SCX10 chassis rail, and MRC transmission. And just a lot of customization to the chassis to get it to be running on leaf springs. So what we're going to end up making is, something along this lines. This is a printout of the old C2J-A, I think it is, Jeep, the military version. And but I'm going to try to make it to look like my granddaddy's Jeep back in the day. And using that, making out of styrene with all these offcuts I have from vacuum forming. Alright, so let's get started. Okay, so the body is really coming together nicely. This is probably the most crucial part of the build, because this is the place where you have to get all these dimensions and stuff right, and then you just start building off of the dimensions you get correct at the beginning. So this is kind of where you spend the most time, and I think I got it pretty close. I ended up having to come back and split the body down the middle and take a section out to narrow it down a little bit, just to give the better look. But all in all, I'm very happy with how this has turned out, especially the front grille. This old, I guess it's World War II version with the 9 slats across the front. Cut these out by hand and was just really surprised at how well that they turned out. Gave them a little bit of a radius sanding on the edge, and I think it's going to work really nicely. Still a lot more to do. Obviously got to get the front fenders. I'm going to try to make the hood opening. There's no doors, obviously no tailgate because it's just solid, but go with the opening hood, and before I do all that, I got to get some more structure in the fenders and everything else placed on there. Okay, so I guess just get back to this and keep working on getting this body to look more like my granddaddy's Jeep. Alright guys, really starting to look like a Jeep. I think the front grille really helps this thing along. The shape of the body is starting to get there. I have this good start on this window cowl. I still got to come back in with a hood and fenders and a lot of other details in here, but all in all, making really good progress. I also was able to get the headlights in, and these are just axial headlight buckets. And what I did was take a little piece of styrene and make a bracket, and then line that up so that it sits back behind the this front grille. I still have to come back with the lights and make one per in here. And what I've looked at these so far is, I think this particular year they did not have the bezel on here, and they just had the headlights recessed back in just like that. So I think that's going to be give a more realistic look. I'm still going to have to come back in and kind of figure out some way to do some type of a motor cover. As you can see, the actual little Novak motor sticks up pretty high, so I'm going to get creative to create something for that. But you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to get the idea. So lots of other little details to finish up. And, you know, I do have the body mounted, Velcro in the back. The front is just notched in, but I'll come up with some way to mount that in the front. So I still got to come back and get the hood, the fenders, the windscreen, and there's lots of other little details to go before I even get into adding the small details inside the body. But I think we just continue on and see what we can get done. So I couldn't be more happy with how this windshield's turned out. You can see that I have this thing so it folds down flat, just like the real one would. Pivots on just 2 little M2 screws here. The majority of the frame here is stainless steel tubing. It's probably just a little bit bigger than what it needs to be, but this is the material I had, and so I work with that. I ended up placing some styrene sheets across the top and one underneath, and I still got to do a little bit more work in here because that's supposed to be like a little I guess some kind of a rubber gasket type seal to goes up against the cowl here. I've also added in these hard to tell, these little U channels, so the U channel go all the way around, and then I'll be able to insert some clear glass into those U channels. But yeah, just very happy with how this has turned out. Still a lot of little finish work on here, little details to add for the inside, but that's just really cool. The still got to make the hood, and that's going to be a functioning hood. Got to make some type of a cover to go over the motor and the servo and stuff, and just add a bunch of details onto that. I'll probably wrap that around the front and see if I can make a somewhat of a radiator looking piece on there. And then there's a big sheet metal roof that is made similar to the old canvas one. Got a really small window on the side, and I believe, if I remember right, I talked to my dad, the metal went straight up here and straight up here, so it was a really small window in the back. But the back wasn't metal, it was just canvas. But so sheet metal up the sides and across the top. It left just a little opening right here, and that was covered up with some canvas. So anyway, so a lot of stuff to do. I think I'm gonna try to get the top made next, and then see where we can go from there. All right, let's continue on. So I think we're at a very good stopping point. We've accomplished a lot. This body is really starting to take shape, and you know, those classic lines for the Jeep. The topper is close to being completed, and I know it's kind of odd looking, but it's a replication of what was actually done on the original Jeep. So like you can see, like here in the back where it's rounded, and the topper is just squared off. It was made as like a sheet metal to replicate the original canvas roof, and it had these really small windows in the side, and then, you know, one bigger window in the back. This was not actually window, it was just a piece of canvas that was draped over here, and I think it was permanently attached to the top, and then had some snaps or something that went down along the sides and the bottom. The top will be coming off, and I'll have to come up with some kind of a magnet system to keep this thing permanently attached. But in the front, I've made this little lip, and that lip just captures the top of the windshield. And so once this is held down firmly in the back with magnets, this will keep this windshield from flopping forward. All in all, I'm very happy with how this is turning out. It's really starting to take shape, and I'm very happy with it. Still, like, so much more to do, but I think for now this is where we'll leave it. Until then, we'll see you on the rocks.